make out that get is you want to get something from the component. Set means you want to give some input to the component. So based on your requirement, you will know whether you want to get something from the component or you want to set something to the component. For example, in this scenario, we want to give a value to the text box so that it can display that value while running. So we want to set a value. We don't want to get something from the text box. We want to set something to the component. Okay. So what we'll do is, instead of all the methods, we will first shortlist the methods by putting set. We need to use a set method because we want to give something to the component. Okay. Now we have limited number of methods available. We can go one by one. Initially, what you will do is you will go one by one and see what is the right method. What you want to do is you want to set a text or a value to the component. So definitely we can't use this method. By looking at the name, we can make out that whether that method will be useful or not. The method which is useful is set text. When you click on set text, it is asking what text you want to set. Okay. If we go back, that what exactly we want to show there is, we want to show the value from this data source. And what value we want to display is, we want to display this particular value. Okay. Again, we'll go back to the data same scripting part. So what is the text we want to display? We want to display a text. We want to fetch a value from data source and we want to display there. So what is that data source is? This is gender data source. Again, now what we want to do is we want to get the value from the data source. Its value is already there with the data source. So put get method. It will shortlist all, it will show all the get methods. Now you go one by one and all. Initially it will take some time, it may take some time, but afterwards, once you are comfortable, you don't have to remember these methods. You will remember most of the methods, why they are used. So we want to get the data as string because it's a text box. Text box is accepts input as a string. It should be a string. You can use get data method also to get the data, or you can use get data as a string. So directly it will convert the data into string and give it to you, so that directly you can assign it to text box. If you use a get data method, if you got the data, again you need to convert that data into string using some other method. So what method we will use is, we'll use a get data as a string method. Now it is asking for two parameters, measure and selection. Measure means, because we have 3 columns in data source. If you see our data source, we have multiple measures, multiple key figures, because text box, it will fetch just one value. So which measure you want to fetch and what is your dimension value. Dimension value is nothing but the selection. So those two things you need to give there. Measure, how you can select measure is, simply select the measure, control enter, it will list you all the measures. You can select total count. Similarly, selection, now it is asking for you key value pair. You need to give key and value. So either you can give key as, okay, gender is my key and value is 1.
Rakesh didn't understand this one. Gender
Okay.
value 1. What is that?
Okay. Just 1 minute. I'll tell you the another simple scenario. Simple method. I'll tell you the simple method. Okay. When you are using get data string method, what you do is simply select both the parameters, put control and space. It gives you option to select the data. If you select both, then only it will give. If you select only measure and put control space, okay, that time also it is giving, but then you need to delete the selection method. You go to select data and you can actually select, instead of writing, you can select, okay, I want to display this value. Okay, and select okay. Now you remove the selection part because selection part is also taken care.
So it took the key value, right?
Yeah,
Text with key.
correct. And now you close your bracket, and to end JavaScript statement, you just put a semicolon. So now we have assigned the value. Let's run and see. So while running, first data source are executing, it's bringing the data, then our startup script is executing it. In startup script, we have written this script to fetch the value from data source and assign it to the text box. It has assigned the value here.